Number 4, Peyote Ceremony, New Abilities. The teaching. The Native American people had been robbed of their land and virtually stripped of their customs when the Trail of Tears ended in the late 1800s. Forced to move and live on reservations, separated from teaching their own children by mission schools and red tape, they struggled to save the last vestiges of personal freedoms. Joaquin, my medicine teacher, told me a story from the viewpoint of the brothers and sisters south of the border. The beginnings of the Native American church were a medicine gift that has brought our people a new perspective on life. Freedom came to the red race from a dark time that seemed to imprison the very spirit of the red nations north of the border. It was a cool, crisp day in San Luis Potosí, Mexico. We bundled ourselves against the wind that cut down the mountains from the old silver mines. Joaquin was taking me on a medicine walk across the arroyos, down a dry riverbed, and then up a canyon. As we walked up the path, I looked at all of the healing herbs and plants that Joaquin used in his curandero healing work. We always located the chief plant to ask permission and offer tobacco before we gathered anything. The red rocks gave way to patches of chamisa and other native grasses along the trail. The wind was not as biting behind the canyon wall, and the enormous turquoise sky made a happy canopy as we continued our climb. Joaquin stopped for a minute and motioned for me to make a wider berth around one of the cacti. "That is Mescalito, the deity of the peyote," he said. "He is the chief cactus in this area, and we treat his sacred space with reverence," he continued. "Mescalito has served our people well, and the other nations to the north have also benefited." "Joaquin," I asked, "when did the Peyote ceremony come to our people in the north?" He replied, "We will sit on the ledge over there," he motioned, "since the story takes a while." When we were seated among the saffron and rose-colored stone people, he continued, "Before my grandfather was grown, the Yaquis had visits from the Apache warrior clans and medicine clans that wandered northern Mexico. Now their reservation is near Ruidoso, Nuevo Mexico. These brothers were fierce fighters who had watched their people harmed by the White Eyes, who had fenced the land and killed the buffalo. The spirit of the people had been broken. These braves reported to our elders that they had been stripped of everything but their souls. Their fear was that the White Eyes would steal their spirits too if they found a way to get to them." Joaquin seemed lost in thought as he reviewed the past in his mind. Then he began again. "You see, Midnight Song? It was a new kind of medicine that was needed then. It was in 1882 that my great-grandfather's brother gave the Apaches the medicine of Mescalito." He smiled, then his bass voice moved to a whisper. "No one can trap the souls of our people now. They have no fear of death. Through Mescalito they have seen beyond the void and have visited the other side camp. We know that we always continue to live in one form or another. That is the new kind of power that we gave the Apaches, who shared peyote medicine with other tribes and nations of the north. These Apaches are honored, and from that time they were called Mescalero Apache." I was very touched. I began to understand that death in the body, or death to the ego, was still the very step to rebirth. I stopped my musing as Joaquin continued. "The Peyote ceremony is a sacred ritual that propels the spirit into the crack in the universe where there's no time, no space, just the raw energy of creation coming from great mystery. All that lives inside you is free to give you joy or to haunt you until you face it," he said. "Once people see the truth and touch eternity, there's no way to strip them of their dignity or their knowing. Many people think that the power substances that are ingested are narcotics that make us crazy Indians, so we let them think what they want to think. The truth is that we gather our plants in a sacred manner. honoring the life force of each plant and making our prayers of gratitude as we go. We always leave an offering of tobacco for the Earth Mother in gratitude for the medicine she has supplied. Each plant is strung on a dream, string behind the bed of the person who will be taking the medicine and is allowed to dry for a long time. Each peyote bud is cut in the ritual of the 4 directions, and whether it is powdered or made into tea, each part of every bud is used, never wasted. Joaquin then instructed me in the ritual of the gathering and the stringing and the cutting. The songs and prayers were to honor the preparation. The ceremony itself is never revealed and is part of the most private ritual of the Native American Church. Although Joaquin's songs are different from those of other tribes to the north, the meanings are the same. All songs are sung to the glory of life and in gratitude for the look beyond the physical illusion. The crack in the universe puts us in touch with pure creativity and allows us to see our abilities and talents, confront our fears, and to move into who and what we are becoming. The raw potential that is the true self is the knowing that brings freedom to every person. The peyote bird, or water bird, is the totem of the Peyote Ceremony. This sacred medicine bird sees the pond and observes its own reflection in it. The gift of self-examination allows the seeker to see those aspects of self that lay below the surface of physical reality and to discover universes of consciousness. The fears that do not surface due to denial can be accessed and handled through prayer and singing. The reconnection to great mystery in sacred ceremony is the mainstay of the peyote ritual. In understanding that the ceremony has become one facet of the Native American Church's religion, one must look at how the red race has kept faith with the Earth Mother throughout centuries. The Native people have used the herbal medicines that the Earth Mother has provided for all kinds of healing. Whether the healings are of body, mind, or spirit makes little difference. If any substance is used properly, it can become a healing agent. If it is abused, it will be toxic and can kill. The ritual of the Peyote Ceremony is not a regular occurrence. The medicine men who run the ceremony have to travel great distances to attend the church members, and therefore the ceremony only occurs when they come into that area. The roadmen of the Native American Church, the equivalent of ministers in organized religion, carry out the duties of leading ceremony, prayer, teaching, counseling, and comforting the people in times of need. Although the Peyote Ceremony is not traditional among the Sioux, the Seneca, and many other tribes, it is used by those who have joined the Native American Church. Many medicine people do not use this ceremony because they have lost the ability to reach this place of understanding. Many can travel to the crack in the universe alone without the aid of Mescalito or the spirit of the water bird. Those who do not need the assistance of peyote still honor the right of others to practice their own rites and ceremonies because it is the proper tool for some Native people. There are thousands of traditions among Native Americans, and even though the United States government only acknowledges about 276 tribes, there are in truth over 387 tribes and traditions on Turtle Island. These traditions are finally beginning to trade information and teach others outside their tribes the medicines, rituals, customs, and understandings of their ancestors. In this time of the white buffalo, it is time to share what we have learned from our sacred points of view without trying to alter the opinions of others. This understanding is becoming a new ability in itself. Honoring all abilities in the self and others marks the pathway of peace. The application. If the water bird has flown your way and brought you the Peyote Ceremony card, you're being asked to recognize your immortal spirit. Look to the crack in the universe for new ways to develop the abilities that can enhance your growth. Remove any denial that keeps you from developing new skills and use the talents you have to the fullest. The Peyote Ceremony card puts you on notice that opportunities to discover the self and for expansive growth are now possible. You are never as limited as you believe you are. The resources of the true self are filled with potential. Conquering limitation created in the mind will allow you to discover these new abilities and know that all goals are possible. Remember that the decision to attack your fears is the beginning of the sacred path.